It started with a single vibration in the dead of night. The world was still, quiet, and wrapped in the heavy cloak of darkness. At first, I didn't want to check it. It felt like any other notification, insignificant, destined to be ignored, like the countless others that cluttered my phone. But something inside me stirred, an instinct so sharp it couldn't be ignored. I didn't want to reach for it, yet my fingers moved of their own accord. There was no explanation for it, just a nagging feeling that I had to see. One new message. The sender? Unknown. I hesitated, heart skipping a beat. Emergency message for you. Don't ignore it. My pulse quickened as I sat up in bed, my fingers hovering, not sure whether to tap the screen. Messages like this weren't normal. Not for me, not for anyone. The weight of my thoughts slowed my hands as a sense of dread began to build up inside me. I could hear the quiet hum of the night, but my thoughts were louder than they had ever been. What was this? A joke, a prank, a mistake? And yet, that gut feeling, the one you can't explain, told me I had to open it. I tapped the screen. The image that flashed before my eyes was blurry at first, the edges fuzzy, as though captured in a rush. In a moment of panic, I squinted, trying to make sense of it. Dark streets stretched out under the dim light of street lamps, a row of cars parked along the curb. And there, under the harsh glow, a figure stood, unmoving. A figure I recognized. It was me. I swallowed, hard. My heart clenched in my chest, a cold shiver ran down my spine and my grip tightened around the phone. I hadn't been outside. I hadn't even opened the door. And yet, there I was, in a picture taken just moments ago. 2 minutes ago. My breath hitched in my throat. Someone had been watching me. Someone had taken this picture. Right outside my apartment. I jolted out of bed, rushing to the window, panic surging through me. My eyes darted to the empty street below. Nothing. The quiet stillness of the night mocked me. But someone had been there. I could feel it. They were watching me. And now they wanted me to know. They wanted me to feel the terror creeping into my bones. I leaned back against the window trying to steady my breathing, but my heart was racing faster than ever. Just as I thought it was over, the phone buzzed again. Another message. You're in danger. Leave now. My stomach twisted. A prank, maybe? My mind clung to the thought, but my instincts told me this wasn't right. That photo, the timestamp, said otherwise. The fear clawed at my chest, but I wasn't ready to believe it. I wasn't ready to let my mind accept what the message was, implying. It couldn't be real, it just couldn't. And yet the second message, the urgency in it, pushed me forward. My hands shook as I grabbed my shoes. But just as I moved, a sound pierced the air, a rattling at the door. It was subtle at first, but then it became clearer, stronger. Someone was outside my apartment, and they weren't knocking. They were trying to get in. My breath caught in my throat as my mind raced, trying to figure out what to do. The rattling continued, each twist of the handle sending a jolt of adrenaline through my veins. This wasn't a prank. This wasn't a mistake. Someone was here. Someone was going to break in, and I didn't know what to do. The door handle rattled harder and I stumbled back, trying to make sense of it. My phone buzzed again. Another message. You don't have much time. The fear was suffocating, but there was no time to waste. What was happening? Why was this happening? My pulse hammered in my ears. I had to decide quickly. I had to think, move, do something, but I couldn't. The fear paralyzed me. Another twist of the handle. Then a click. A sound so chilling, so final, that it froze me in place. The door was unlocked. I knew I had locked it. I was sure of it. But now, somehow, it was opening. A sliver of darkness stretched across the threshold, and in that sliver I could see a figure. A shadow, dark and indistinct. I could feel their presence, the weight of their eyes on me. The door creaked open a little more. I backed away. Panic clawed at my chest. I grabbed for anything that could help me, a weapon, anything. My hand found a lamp, a chair, and then a metal flashlight. The cold weight of it in my hand grounded me for a moment, but only for a moment. The door creaked open a bit more. I didn't know who they were. I didn't know what they wanted, but I knew I couldn't let them take me. Then, my phone vibrated. Again. The message was clear. Don't fight. Just run. Every instinct screamed at me to listen. But how could I? How could I run when I didn't even know where to go? How could I trust a stranger, someone who wasn't even in the room with me, to guide me through this? The figure was closer now, just beyond the door. I couldn't see their face, only the dark silhouette of a person standing still in the shadows. The air in my apartment felt thick, suffocating, as though the very walls were closing in on me. I raised the flashlight. The metallic edge gleamed under the dim light. I could feel the sweat on my palms, the trembling in my fingers. But there was no time to think, no time for hesitation. Run! The message flashed again, burning through my mind. I didn't even think. I just moved. I bolted, not toward the front door. That would be the obvious escape. They would be expecting me to run in that direction. No. I turned sharply toward the window. The cool night air greeted me as I opened it, but my heart dropped. It was a 3-story drop. Too high to jump without hurting myself, maybe killing myself. But there was no time to think about that. No time to reconsider. Another set of footsteps echoed in the hall. Closer. The door creaked open fully. Rush of air hit me, followed by a voice. Stop. I didn't stop. Not for them. Not for anyone. I lunged for the window, throwing it open as fast as I could. My breath hitched. I could feel the wind, cold and sharp, biting at my face. The drop was too high, but there was no time to think, no time to hesitate. Then, a hand wrapped around my wrist. Cold, unyielding, strong. I twisted, pulling, trying to free myself, but the grip was ironclad. Whoever they were strong. I didn't even see their face. The shadows hid them from me, but I could feel their presence, the suffocating weight of it. You don't want to do this, the voice said, low, steady. I hissed, trying to mask the fear in my voice. Who are you? But they ignored my question. You need to come with me now. The words hung in the air like a promise, but one I had no intention of keeping. Not now. Not ever. I shook my head, the fear threatening to swallow me whole. Not a chance. Their fingers twitched, tightening around my wrist. They sent me to bring you in alive, but if you fight me, I can't promise that stays the plan. A chill ran through me. My heart skipped a beat. Who sent you? I demanded, my voice shaking. For a moment they hesitated. A fleeting second. But that hesitation was enough to tell me something I didn't want to know. Whoever they were working for, they weren't alone. There were others, watching, waiting, and I was already in deeper than I realized. My phone buzzed again and I glanced down just long enough to see the message. If you go with him, you won't make it through the night. The words blurred before my eyes. This wasn't a kidnapping. It was an execution, and I had seconds to decide whether I would let it happen. A desperate move surged through me. I couldn't wait. I couldn't hesitate. I had to survive. I stomped down on his foot, putting all my weight into it. He grunted, his grip loosening for just a second. That second was enough. I twisted free, grabbed the nearest object, a heavy glass paperweight from my desk, and without thinking, I swung it at his head. The glass shattered against him and he staggered back, cursing under his breath. I didn't wait. I didn't stop. I ran. I wasn't thinking anymore. My feet hit the floor, pounding as I raced out of my apartment, shoving the door open so hard, it slammed against the wall. I sprinted down the hall toward the emergency stairwell, but then I heard it. More footsteps. They were already here. I was trapped. The choice had been made for me. The quiet of the night had always been my companion. It was a time for rest, for stillness, for peace. But tonight, the silence shattered, pierced by a single vibration from my phone. I almost ignored it, convinced that it was just another one of those random notifications. Yet something deep inside me stirred, a gut feeling, a whisper in the depths of my soul. I couldn't just leave it unchecked. I reached for my phone. The message was simple, unremarkable at first glance. An unknown number, The words barely more than a string of letters. Emergency message for you, don't ignore. My heart raced, my thoughts scrambling to make sense of it. Why was someone sending me this? The pulse in my chest quickened as I sat up in bed, staring at the screen in disbelief. I couldn't remember the last time I had received a message like this. What kind of emergency would demand such an urgent plea from someone I didn't even know? But then, the image appeared. A blurry, almost indiscernible photograph. My mind strained to make sense of it. A dark street, a row of parked cars, a single street lamp casting long shadows. But there, in the shadows, standing perfectly still, was a figure. At first I couldn't place them. The picture was too hazy, the edges too distorted. And then, in an instant, the recognition struck me like a cold slap to the face. It was me.